Okay, great. So we are playing as white. So the point of this is to explain how to analyze games, right? So it's a game I'm playing on stream, and I want to show how to analyze games. So this one is going to be a game, but then I'll do it on a separate video, how to analyze. So it's going to be two different videos, so there's not one long video. So whenever you are playing a game, that's like the normal playing of games that you are doing, you want to take note of key points. So you can break it down into three phases: in the opening phase, the middle phase, the middle game phase, and then the end phase, right? So you take note of various points that happen in the game, and that's what you use for the basis of your analysis. So we are going to play our usual landing system. If our opponent plays something slightly different, we'll talk about it, and we'll go on from here. He's a diamond player who is an Indian, and he's 1600. This is a 1900 rated player I'm playing right now. But yeah, so there are so many things your opponent can try here. There's the c5, which is the normal way they play. There's e6, which is also very normal. I think there are sometimes lines with e6, c5. Some can also play c6 here. Like, there are so many lines that people can play against the landing. So when people talk about the landing being like too linear, I find it difficult to understand, because there are many different like variants or variations that your opponent can play. And already on move 3, my opponent is thinking. I would expect that he should know what to do. At least the first 5 moves are usually very concrete. Like, everybody knows their first 5 moves. Maybe around like, maybe you should know your opening to about 15 moves, 10, 15 moves for every single variation or every single line. But first 5 moves should be concrete. So it could be a sign that my opponent is not comfortable with this opening, or he's trying to recall a line to help him play against this opening, right? c5 is always the most like combative way to play against the landing system. I don't really know of very good lines. I mean, especially since we are in this position. If we started the game with d4 and then he went c5, immediately he throws me off, right? So now that we've gotten to this point, he can't really throw off the landing system. So it's one of the things you should know. So as I'm playing this opening, I'm going to take note of points, and this timer will be also very good. So during your analysis, the timer is something you should also consider. So in as much as you look at positions that you felt were interesting, you can also look at the timer to find out which positions were uncomfortable for you, or which positions did you really not understand much, right? Because if there's so much happening and you can't really figure things out, you might spend longer times on the clock, right? So that is another thing you have to take note of. So take note of key moments, and take note of places where you spent more time than necessary, right? And hopefully my opponent will continue to play, because I'm worried he has either left the game. I don't know, because move 3 should not be something that would disturb you. If I mean he abandons the game, that's fine. We'll start another game, so no worries about that. But yeah, move 3, I think, yeah, I mean, there is either g6, e6, c5, c6. Technically, knight to c6 here is not considered, but he plays g6. Okay. I hope he's not watching the stream, because it's like immediately I say g6, then g6 comes on the board. Normally against g6, you can't play the bishop here. There's nothing wrong with that. But normally when my opponent plays g6, I personally sometimes, I mean, it depends on how I'm feeling, want to play my bishop here to e2. But for the sake of just playing a normal opening, I'll play here. The reason I normally like to play here is simply because I want to put pressure on this square, that if my opponent does castle, and all of a sudden my opponent is playing very fast, which is very interesting. Knight b to d7, b to d2. I always think I'm playing as black. Yes, you want to complete the pyramid, but I have found that until my opponent plays something like c5, I am not so hell-bent on finishing the pyramid, right? So here we go, h4. Again, in as much as I have not played the bishop here, it does not mean that h4, h5 is not possible. It's very possible. It's always been possible. Okay, my opponent is playing in this fashion. I think I know what my opponent is doing. So let's play solid here. Now I want to play c5 as more of a waiting move to see what my opponent does. It may not really be necessary, but I just want to play this move to see what my opponent does. Now, playing c3 here opens an idea of this, a sacrifice idea. Doesn't always work. Don't get too hell-bent on it. So it's an idea. This is a very nice way to try and stop your opponent from creating the problems that I was talking about with h4, h5. But when your opponent pushes pawns in front of their king, what he does is that he creates a color square complex, right? So if you look around my opponent's king, his dark squares are very weak, right? So if I can take off this dark squared bishop, and I can attack him on the dark squares, basically. So this dark square bishop is the reason why his dark squares are okay. But once this dark square bishop is off the board, it's a whole different story, right? Yeah, I actually wanted him to play this move because I wanted to play like uber aggressive in this game. Yeah, so this is actually what I was hoping my opponent would play. I could have played knight here immediately. I could have, but I wanted my opponent to play the bishop move here. And again, I could play this, but the sacrifice is still not looking decent. So let's go this way. Again, an idea here is pawn push. If my opponent takes, the idea is to go pawn push again. With after knight takes, rook takes, and you can see the weaknesses that are being created on my opponent's side of the board, right? I could do that instantly. I really believe I could do that instantly. So what I'm thinking about now is that do I go this way with ideas of this? Do I go this way with ideas of takes pawn push? Of course, my opponent doesn't have to take. Or do I go this way with the ideas of castling? I wonder what I'm doing here. Still don't want to. Okay, let's take a look. Pawn push, pawn takes, pawn push. If pawn takes, that's completely fine. Okay, so pawn push, pawn takes, pawn push. If pawn takes, I think I can simply go this way. And now my opponent has some things to worry about here. So I think regardless, my queen is going this way. So maybe I should just play this move. I could also just play this move so that this pawn push is not so like compromising. Let's pick this move. Let's pick this move. But we'll pick this move. Now you can see that I spent considerable amount of time here. So I have to now find out like why am I so confused here? So it's a point of something it's a point I should take note of. Again, here I could have played knight, right? Instead of c3, I could have played knight. But then again, my opponent would come here and that's an annoying pin, which is why I waited to see what my opponent does. If my opponent didn't do anything, eventually I was going to castle queenside, and then maybe now I can play my knight there. And of course, he plays this move. He's expecting me to castle queenside, so he's prepping an attack. So when you see a move like this, mostly they are prepping an attack like towards your position. Okay. So I think now we can go this way. If bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. Okay, let's go this way. Let's see what our opponent does if I go this way. I mean, he could still continue his assault here, which is, I mean, something you can try. I don't know. So many things you can play here. Still eager to see what my opponent does. Okay, he does go with b5. Now we go with our knight here. It's a very nice square to put your knight. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So when my opponent continues with like b5, b4, I mean, that's fine. Not so sure what I do after that move, but we'll try what we can. My opponent is really like preparing, like, because he knows I'm going to try and castle queenside, so he's doing his best to like play against that whole idea. Okay, so let's say I try and sacrifice. Does it work? Let's say I go here. Doesn't really work. Let's go this way. That way we can go f4, f5. Very simple move without much context. Okay. Okay, so b4. I can't take it. Takes. I think it's fine. Okay, so let's go bishop takes. Nice explanation. Hey, don't worry. When we get to the analysis section, I will explain a little bit more. I'm going for bishop takes because it seems maybe I can win from here. There are some things I'm not saying for good reason. I'll explain a little bit later, because some of these thought processes you may not be so sure exactly what's going on. But I'll explain more. I'll explain more. Don't worry about it. So if takes here, or maybe queen there, these are moves my opponent can play. It's hard to say which attack works first, you know? It's hard to say which attack would work first. Okay. My opponent plays takes. Let's go queen takes. You think the attack is winning? I hope it is. I hope it is. I hope the attack is winning. You all think it's winning? That's cool. I should spend my time to play accurately. Yes. And this is why I like rapid, because I can actually take my time to think. I've actually spent like 5 minutes thinking before. Now I think spending 5 minutes, it's like it's way overboard, like it's too much. But yeah, you could actually do that. Okay, so it takes here. We are not completely winning yet. Okay, so we can check here. And take here. Okay, spending time as well as I can. Okay, so my opponent's king is naked. Material is even despite the sacrifice of the piece. I have material compensation, so it's okay for now, and I have more time. New personal best, nice. Okay, I was kind of wondering like where this bishop was going to, you know, it was something I was wondering if it was actually like I thought my opponent was going to go ham on the queen side, but like if I right now I can't tell what my opponent is doing anymore, because it's like he starts the attack, then he stops it, or he slows down the idea, right? So I can't really like say for sure like this is what he's trying to do, you know. Yeah, basically. Basically. I don't know. Would have been nice if this bishop didn't exist, you know? Like this would have been game over, but the bishop exists, so unfortunately it's not game over. Rook here. Wait, my queen is trapped there, right? No. Wait, oh yeah, the bishop stops this one as well. Yeah. So yeah, my queen is trapped there. That's funny. Um. Ah well, we are still waiting to see. Okay. My opponent is really spending his time. My opponent really is not comfortable with this position at all. Like this is very evident from how he's playing. So I don't know. Okay. What is he going to do here? I like my time management. I think this is the main point I would have to look out for, because I spent about 3 minutes here. So I don't know. No, I think I mean he could play. I think he's in a bad position, but I mean I think he could try rook h6. I don't see anything wrong with it. Mm. Okay. Okay. That's a nice move from our opponent there. Mm. I think this is the best I can do for now. It took him long enough to see rook f5. I mean, it's not often that you don't know what to do. It's about like what happens after, right? Because normally if a move is played, you instinctively know what to do. What you struggle with is, okay, so I play this and then what? So mostly it's like which move do I play gives me the most options. So sometimes you can see the best move, but you realize that playing the best move doesn't give you the most options. So you're like, okay, I won't play the best move because maybe the best move just simply defends, which I mean, in some cases, just defending is fine. I don't dispute that. But there are times where you make a move that may not be the best move, but it gives your opponent a much more of an opportunity to it gives your opponent much more of an opportunity to what's the word I'm trying to find here? It gives your opponent much more of an opportunity. No, it gives you much more of an opportunity to counter attack. So you may be losing the game, and you may know that okay, if like my opponent is planning to checkmate me like 7 moves, so rather than just defend for the checkmate to come, you play a slightly bad move, but a slightly bad move that gives you more options, and that is what I'm trying to mention. Mention here. So here I'm looking at e5, takes. Of course, yes, it frees the rook, but then you see stuff like this coming up. The open file seems to make a lot of sense to me. There's also this and this also makes sense to me. So my current options are e5. He finally plays this move. How dangerous is it? It takes. I think takes I have to take. Pawn push is still on my agenda. I can't ignore it. I don't think I can. Don't forget, I'm still a piece down. If my opponent finds a way to counter, I think he'll be fine. The simple guy, no desire. Hello and welcome to the stream as well. I think I should just go for this h4, h5 plan. h5, h6 plan, sorry. It seems to be a decent plan. But my opponent is really spending time. Right? He's really spending time. Again, yes, I agree, it's a difficult position, but he's been spending time on even the most simple moves. Right? Bishop here is interesting. Oh, I don't win the rook. Okay, I was thinking bishop here, I can just take the rook. Okay, so I can't take it because the queen blocks it. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I think this is just the plan. I think this is a little bit too slow and weakens my position even more. So I don't think I want to play that move. Sacrificing the rook, I don't also support that move. But after takes, I have this. Okay, so the queen is... Why? What does the queen do? The queen can come in here. It's not so scary. This is the scary part. Let's see if I can allow all that, right? h4, h5, queen here, h6, queen takes with check, king comes in here and he takes here. Okay, so it's not all that possible. So maybe this is the move, because now it forces my opponent to make a move. Okay, so pawn push. If he comes in here, I can simply take. And if you come in with a check, I can simply hide here. This move exists, but it's not so strong. I think this is much more confirmed than this. I don't think too much. My opponent's spending too much time. Don't worry, I'll explain so many. It's like I'm not saying everything, but I'll explain it at the end. I have a reason. When you guys hear my reason, you might laugh. That's why. So don't worry about it. When you hear my reason, you will laugh. Yes, the rook is the only thing defending me, but then he has this move. Don't forget. And again, we've mentioned if takes here, we take here, and this rook is coming in. For a second, I was tempted to play this move. I kid you not. Anyways, don't forget that if I take here, this rook is also like disturbing me on this square. But it's completely fine. Well, I disconnected. I'm back. I'm back. My game disconnected, but I don't know. It's saying the internet is not strong, but that's funny. If I disconnect, just type in chat, I'll see it. Yeah, so I saw this. Okay, so now here, pawn push. Here, check here is no longer that dangerous anymore. I don't know if there's this. I still do think h4, h5 is the move. Again, I could also play this. Yeah, I think that just wins, right? If I play this, it just wins, right? Because if you play rook takes and I take here, now you have to find a way to dodge this. And the queen coming in here doesn't help you. I think that just wins. Am I back? Am I back? Let me know if I'm back. Okay, so we won. So we won. So we won. Yeah. But that was a nice game. A very simple, short 24 move game that we are going to analyze. So it's going to be very cool. But that analysis is going to be in a separate video. Okay, that analysis is going to be in a separate video. So the whole aim of this is to teach you analysis. I mentioned some points. Now I'll state something in the analysis video, because again, the way I wanted to analyze the game is not how I did it, and I'll explain why in the analysis video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this one. Of course, we played this game live on stream. My stream was cutting off. Okay, the stream is back. So guys, I'll see you in the analysis video where we learn how to analyze.